Welcome to Power-eCommerce Initial Setup Training. You should have a general idea of the layout of the admin by navigating and investigating the site on your own. Before we begin, let's go over two basic rules regarding the admin. The first rule is you should never have the admin and your internet website open at the same time on the same browser. You can work between the both of them if they are opened in different browsers only. The admin works best when navigated in Chrome. The admin will support Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. The admin is not compatible with Edge or Internet Explorer. The second rule regarding the admin is that all of the menu options, the tabs, you can open and close by clicking on the arrow next to the folder. Not the folder and not the word should be clicked on, but the arrow. Then within each tab there are subtabs. These subtabs can be opened simply by double clicking on the word. The first section of the admin that we are going to review is going to be the general settings. You can find this section by clicking on the arrow next to settings and then double clicking on general settings. The general settings section is divided into 4 boxes. 1, company details, 2, address for vendors, 3, billing address, and box number 4, reply email settings. The names and addresses within the boxes can either be the same or different. Let's review each box. Box number 1, company details, is where the physical location of your company is listed and your website domain. The company email address in this box is the one that is used on outgoing emails. All order and tracking confirmations will be sent from this email address unless you plan to break it out separately in box number 4, which we'll get to in a minute. The phone number that appears in box number 1 is the phone number that appears on your website. Box number 2, address for vendors. In this box, this address is what will appear on the purchase order to your vendor. This may be different than box number 1 if your vendor knows you under a different company name. Otherwise, it will be the same as the address in box number 1. Box number 3, the billing address box, is the address that will appear on your invoices to your customers. The phone number listed here is the number you are providing to your customers on the invoice. Moving on to box number 4, this is the reply email settings. If available, you can set up specific outbound email addresses for these different purposes. For example, orders at, RMAs at, etc. Notice at the bottom of this general settings tab, there's an update button. This must be clicked on and updated before you move on to any of the other sub-tabs within the general settings. As you can see, each sub-tab has its own update button that you must save your work before you go on. You can work within these tabs, but you need to save your work before you go on to the next tab. The next section within general settings that we need to update and go over is the checkout section. If you click on that, that will open up 3 other boxes that need to be updated. Box number 1 is the checkout settings. The first number to enter in is what your minimum order is that you will allow a customer to place. If you have a minimum order rule in place, you can then set a small order fee in the small order fee box if you choose. Your customer would then be informed and charged this fee for not meeting the minimum order amount. This is not to be confused with the handling fee in this box. You can add a handling fee onto every sales order, whether it makes the minimum or not. If you choose not to have a minimum order, small order fee, or a handling fee, all three of these fields, they cannot be left blank. They will need to at least be filled in with the 0.00. The last section in this tab to update is the terms link. In your shopping cart, the customer can view your terms and conditions. You need to open this box and select terms and conditions. There's a page that's already created, and then by selecting terms and conditions, you are telling the website to use that page. Box number 2, email settings for checkout. When a customer places an order on the website, up to 5 people can be alerted that an order was placed. This is where you list those email addresses. You can list 1, you can list 5, it's up to you. These are not the email addresses of your vendors. Please do not list your vendor email addresses in these boxes. Remember, once this information is completed and updated, you need to go down to the bottom and you need to select the Update Checkout Settings to save your work. There are several other tabs within General Settings that you don't need to edit until you have further instruction. Right now, the first step is to update the General tab and then the Checkout tab. You don't even want to play with them. For example, the Global tab, if you were to prematurely run any of these reports, you could create a huge mess. Just leave them the way that they are. All these tabs are already set up for maximum efficiency of your website, waiting for further instruction. For now, that completes the review of General Settings within the initial setup.